that's when you win.
You feel it before you think it. I had dropped out of school twice.
How old are you?
I'm 26, about to turn 27.
Yeah.
But real life gives you the test, and then you learn the lesson.
You're listening to Angry Digital, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a thriving and successful brand powered by Angry Digital Inc. I'm your host, Eshan Ravuri, and I'm here today with our featured guest, Andres. Andres is the Peter McKinnon of wedding video. So I hear. Andres, welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate the invite, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell me a little bit about what you do and what AndresLopez.com and your videography company, Andres Lopez Films, does.
Yeah. So I pretty much tell people that we are a media company that specializes in wedding photo and video. And yeah, that's pretty much what we do. We work in the wedding industry. We service mostly the Atlanta and Georgia area. Sometimes we do have out-of-state weddings, but we mostly focus in the Georgia space. And we pretty much do wedding documenting for photo, for video, for all of our couples.
Cool. So how long have you been doing this?
Honestly, man, I've been doing this for almost a decade now. I think I started back in 2017. Those are like my earliest days of documenting weddings. So I'm a year shy from making it a decade long.
Wow, 9 years.
Yeah, it's been a journey, man. Like, it's definitely evolved a lot over the last couple of years as far as like systems, as far as style, as far as presentation. When I first started off, it was really more of like a hobby.
Okay.
I started when I was a junior, senior in high school, and I pretty much figured that, hey, I have this set of skills that I can use. And one day it clicked to me, why don't I use these skills to make money, essentially?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound like salesy or slimy or
right.
anything, but I was 17 at the time, and I came to that realization. I think those were kind of the first couple of days, my first couple of days of having an entrepreneurial mindset, having a business mindset.
Yeah. So what was the first gateway? Like, what was the first point when you transitioned from doing this as a fun thing, a gig on the side? Was your first gig paid? Was it free? Like, what was that moment when you realized that eureka moment where you're like, oh, wait, every entrepreneur has that moment where it's like you're addicted and there's no turning back.
That's, to answer your first question, dang, that's a good question. I'm trying to remember if there was a turning point. I think within my business, there were a handful of turning points when I realized that this is something that can actually be, done full time and, scaled. When I was in college, my freshman year, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. And I was doing a little bit of everything. I had been doing videography for about 3 years. I had been doing photography for a couple months. And I had this business on the side, but my vision was to go the traditional route of going through college, going through university, and then just getting a regular job. I actually didn't know what I wanted to major in or, do for my life. I just knew that I had a hobby, I had school, and I went through so much internal battle, carrying those two things. And I think the turning point for me, or at least one of the first ones, was when I started booking more people, booking more clients, and realizing that, hey, like, what I do is scalable. And I realized that I don't have to go the traditional route. This is something that I can actually make into a full-time thing. This isn't just for fun. This isn't just a side thing. This is something that can replace, a traditional 9-to-5. So I think my junior or senior year of college is when I had another turning point, when I had to make a decision between, do I want to disappoint my clients in the wedding space, or do I want to disappoint my university professors? Because I couldn't do both. I was either going to miss client deadlines, and I didn't realize how detrimental that was, keeping a good reputation, making sure you have great reviews online, or I was going to miss class and miss assignments and, ultimately fail. So that was I would say that was probably my second or third turning point. I realized that, hey, screw this. Let me just focus on the wedding space. And I decided to just drop out. And yeah, I haven't turned back since.
Amazing. So here's a question. So you said disappointing your professors, right? Now, was that really disappointing your professors or your parents?
That's a good question. I think it was definitely a combination of both.
Yeah. So your professors were very supportive. Seems like they were encouraging.
With professors, I don't think I had any strong connections with any of them. I don't think I can think of one that I had like a deep one-on-one connection with. And honestly, when I look back at it, I had more time in contact with my professors and with my parents. At the time, I wasn't living with my parents. I was, living closer to university.
Yeah.
So I definitely had a lot more points of contact with my university professors. With my parents, it definitely, there definitely was that degree of letting them down, disappointing them, having to live by their standards.
Right.
And I think a big part of that too has to do with being a first gen here in the States. And I'm sure you can relate to. But yeah, man, like my parents, ever since I've grown up, they've always thought that education was going to be the key to everything. And if you don't have an education, then you're not really going to amount to anything.
Absolutely.
And I think there was also a lot of layers built in psychologically into both my parents. My mom has a brother who's a doctor, and he was able to basically take himself out of poverty, becoming, a doctor and opening up his own practice and scaling that. And then my dad, he actually was a failed entrepreneur like 2 or 3 times. He's tried several times opening up a restaurant business and it never worked for him. So he had that limiting belief that this doesn't work. It didn't work for me, so it's not going to work for anyone. Yeah. And I'm sure also the pressure of being a parent, I'm sure them looking, down upon me. Yeah. He, obviously casted that and of course, thought that if it didn't work for me, it's not going to work for my son. Right. So there was a little bit of the, I'm sure a little bit of his ego in that regard that if he couldn't do it, then, how could I do it?
Yeah. So it's a fear, almost a fight or flight, where it's like mirroring.
Exactly.
You're projecting. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny because my dad, he came to this country with $4,000. And when I was born, at that time, he had a business. It was a gas station, 2 of them, which ended up, there was a terrible issues with the landlord and went bankrupt. So during my entire childhood, like what I've seen and known that I reflect back on it is that I watched my dad go from nothing, having a kid, but never feeling like I was missed out. They always made sure that I always, maybe they couldn't afford things at the time, but they always got me what what they could, right? And never made me feel like, I was like any less fortunate, right? But then turning that around and watching him, have the ability to put me in a place like you've seen, that's like, I think that played a big role on my mindset. So I completely relate to that. And from your experience of dropping out of college, I also dropped out of college as an entrepreneur. So, it wasn't my intention to drop out of college. I was a straight A student. I was on the presidential honors list. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I took a break. That break has been 7 years, 6 years. So like, no regrets there, and more now. I mean, I could go back and finish my degree, but I feel like it would honestly take away from the flex of, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. That's a big thing to do, like, especially when your peers are all going to finish school, start doing money, it's like, but there's a point. That was for a eureka moment for me. It was like with e-commerce, it was like one day I was just doing this thing I enjoyed, right? I'm just having fun. It's like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, there's nothing to lose here. It was my secondary thing. But that was the easiest time to make money. The easiest time was when it was not a chore, when there was no pressure and it was just for fun. It literally went from like making $0, being a couple $1,000s in debt to run ads and that kind of stuff, to like surplus of $10,000 a day. But again, you have to learn a lot of things to learn in e-commerce. But was it like that for you too? Like when did you end up leaving school?
Yeah. So I definitely feel like I had a safety net for a while, because I started my industry very young. From the ages of 17 to 21, I was still under like my parents' roof, under their paycheck. So I definitely had that safety net. So doing, the wedding industry was something that being in the wedding industry was something that was like, trial or error. Like if I failed, I failed, oh well. And then as far as when did I drop out, I think this was back in 2021. And actually, it's funny, I had dropped out of school twice.
How old are you?
I'm 26, about to turn 27 next month.
Okay, I just turned 25, so that's crazy because, so you're a senior? Were you a senior when you dropped out?
I was a fourth year, but I definitely got mixed in with like the wrong crowd, so I was definitely, a few credits behind.
Yeah.
I was a fourth year, but on paper, I think I was like a junior.
Yeah, Gotcha. Yeah, that's crazy. Like I left school with like such a formidable amount of credits left that like my advisors were like, dude, you literally have to take like 2 elective
just graduate
classes
already.
to graduate. And I was like, I don't have time right now. I'm like managing ops.
Yeah.
Did you have any like professors that knew about what you're doing?
I'm trying to think back about different relationships I had with professors. I think it was more so my counselor. I think with one of my counselors, she did know just because, we sat down, she looked at my credits, she looked at my grades, and she's like, what is going on? And she didn't quite understand. And, I explained it to her. And I think she understood. And, she's kind of brainwashed by the university system. She works for, the system. So for her, it was easy to be like, hey, like, forget about that crap, like, reel it back in. For me, it was easy, like, hey, like, I'm young. I like this. My heart's in this direction. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm, naive. I'm 20, 21.
Yeah.
So I was still, very naive, but I knew I feel like my heart and my mind have always guided me in the right direction.
Yeah. The gut.
Yeah. I've always had that gut feeling.
Right.
And to this day, it's like not let me down. So
it will never let you down.
100%.
Your gut's always right.
Mm-hmm.
It's your second brain. If your gut's telling you something, listen to it. Seriously, like your gut knows, like before you know. That is your brain telling you. That feeling, your gut is like, what's an emotion? An emotion's a chemical reaction in the body. That's all it is, right? But it's always emotion that comes before thought. So first the emotion fires, and then the response to the emotion is you realizing what that is, and it's the thought, right? So your gut will tell you first, you'll feel it first, and then you'll realize it. So if your gut tells you something, trust it.
That's funny. You just reminded me of one of my high school professors, and she was actually the film professor that I had. And that was one thing that she really emphasized was, trusting your gut. And it's funny, like seeing certain themes, play out in your life. When you're younger, you hear them and you don't quite understand them. And, you're in high school, you think you know everything. Your ego tells you like, oh, like, I understand this. You don't have to tell me. And then, years later, it resonates.
You really understand it.
And you're like,
then.
Oh shit. Like
That's what that
you
meant.
understand it to a deeper level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And even with like, did you take any classes in college? What was your major?
Funny enough, I knew I wanted to do something in business when I got to college.
Yeah.
And I didn't know exactly what in business I wanted to do. So my second year, I said, screw it. Like, let me just do accounting. And that was actually my major. It was accounting. And yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. See, mine was finance. So we were right there.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I see a lot of parallels between like your backstory and my backstory. So that's really
that's
interesting.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah. Cause I always like would look at the stock market. I started investing in penny stocks really young. Like I'm talking about like middle school, high school, like penny stock trading on fake cash, like paper money, Thinkorswim. That was like my hobby. I thought it was crazy that I could just take money. My uncle explained it to me like this. If you take this $5 and you put it in the drawer, imagine you open the drawer in 5 days and there's $10 in there. That's what it's like when you put money in stocks. I was like, yo, give me all these drawers, But he also said, okay, but if you put it in the wrong drawer, there could be nothing in there. It all depends on how you make the decision.
That's a good like comparison. That's a good metaphor. Like, I definitely need to teach that to my kids when I get to raising them.
Yeah. So then immediately I'm thinking like, then why would you put money in the drawer? Period. He was like, but it's not like 50-50 when you like flip a coin. Half the time it's heads, half the time it's tails. It's like you can make the right decision by looking at this crazy colorful chart, right? So that's all I understood. I was probably 6 or 7. Yeah. Funny enough, that got me into Terry College. And that was my application essay. But in finance, me studying finance, I always had a different mindset than my peers. My peers would be like, regurgitate this information on a test. For me, I was like, yo, I can take this information and make money with it. That's how I always thought.
Yeah, that's another parallel that I'm thinking about with my film, background, taking film in high school. That's exactly the same realization I had, one day realizing like, shit, like, these are skills. Why don't we put them to use? Why don't we actually do something with them?
I always thought classes like that, people would kind of just fuck around in school. Really, they would just kind of like BS their way through things, or like just kind of treat it like it's like.
I feel like with school, I feel like it's both parties' fault. I think the school system is very fucked up here in America.
Agree.
And I think that the students also have a lack of accountability. So I think it's definitely the fault of both people. I think with school, school teaches it backwards, if I'm being honest. School gives you the lesson and then gives you the test. Yeah. But real life gives you the test and then you learn the lesson. So that's one thing that I think the school system has completely inverted.
I agree. Wow, that's a good way to put it, because we actually learn from experience.
Exactly.
We learn from failure. The brain's neuroplastic, right? The neuroplasticity of the brain, it actually changes when you fail. The most effective way for you to grow and learn a skill is to fail. So people.
And what does school do? It punishes failure.
Failure.
In reality, it should be rewarding it if you think about it.
Absolutely, because if you fail at something, your brain changes. If your brain changes, you do it differently next time, whether you like it or not. So now that you're terrified of failing, we create this, and what happens with analysis paralysis? The brain, the thought of failing, the thought of future failure hurts 2 times more than actually failing.
I agree. And I feel like I realized that, this is one thing that I realized early on, is that we're more scared of the unknown than what's actually going to play out.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a fear of the unknown. That's anxiety. We're creating this, like, our brain's trying to take the past, predict the future, and we're scared. Our brain's telling us, okay, the thought of future failure quite literally hurts us 2.5 times more than if you were to actually go out and fail. But here's the actual crazy part. The thought of future success, we can't feel any of the pleasure. None. So we cannot think about future success and feel the pleasure of it, but we can feel 2 times actually failing.
Yeah.
And that's there to protect us, right?
Right. It's survival.
It's survival, but we're not equipped today. Our biology is not equipped today to support the pressure of school, the pressure of I need to make it. And that's why we have professors like the one that would tell you, like, come back to reality.
Yeah, reel it back in.
Yeah, reel it back in. Come on, stop dreaming.
Literally, word for word, what she was saying too.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe she should start dreaming.
Yeah, but honestly, I did hear that a lot growing up. Whether it was in school, whether it was in peers, whether it was like my parents. Like, I've always had people doubt me, and I've always had people second guess me, and I've always had people underestimate me. And I eventually learned to channel those things. So now the way my operating system works, anytime someone doesn't believe in me or someone has an ounce of negativity, right, targeted towards me, I'm actually able to use that as energy. I'm able to use that as like, all right, motherfucker, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to
prove you wrong.
Exactly.
That's how I am too, dude. Like, tell me I can't do something.
And it just drives you. Yeah,
it drives
bad. Yeah.
I won't even say a word to you. You're going to realize it on your own. And you're going to come to me and be like, shit, dude. Like,
you're right.
Like, how'd you do that? This is always how it goes. First, they'll ask you why you're doing something. Then they'll ask you how you did it.
Exactly.
Always doubt you first. They'll always ask you why. So I always like to move in silence. You know, whatever I'm doing it because I like doing it. But every single time somebody's told me I can't do something.
It's like endless fuel. Yeah.
Every time I proved them wrong. Tell me I can't do something. Like, that is the biggest fucking thing that you can do to make me do something.
And you know it's crazy because 99% of people don't have that.
Yeah.
So I think I don't even know what to call that. Like that trait alone, I don't know what to call that. But if you have that, I think you are destined for success.
Yeah. You set your mind to something, you're gonna get it. Do you have ADHD?
You think I might have ADHD?
No, I'm just curiously asking.
I have. I've never been diagnosed professionally with ADHD, but I've been told by other people that I might have ADHD.
Yeah.
And I've shown symptoms of ADHD, and I do have a very my mind isn't easy to turn off. Like it tends to go on a rampage.
Gotcha.
So who knows? Like I've never been diagnosed.
Yeah.
But I would see it as like a superpower.
Love it. I have diagnosed ADHD, and up to I didn't take medications till I was in my senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was always fighting myself. It was always like, I know that I can do something. Everyone would tell me that I'm smart, but I'm not taking advantage of my potential. Mm-hmm. But with ADHD, it's like, bro, how the fuck do I do this? It's like, it's like, if there's something I want to do, I could do it with such efficacy and with so much dedication that it's unparalleled.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah.
And I've been told, it's funny, my fiance, she will call me out on things. She will notice things. She's very good at noticing patterns, and she's very good at noticing traits in people.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that she says about me constantly is that when I focus on something, I don't just focus on something. I hyper-focus and I hyper-fixate, and to a degree where you would think I'm addicted to that thing.
Right.
So my brain operates, the way my thoughts operate, it's like a machine gun. It just fires. But then once I'm focused, I'm like a sniper rifle. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's kind of like you know how in Dave and Buster's or those little arcade games where there's a water gun? Mm-hmm. And then you start hitting it dead in the center, but you get so lasered into that where it's not going to move no matter what. It's like when you're driving on the highway and you miss an exit because you're
you're on autopilot, basically.
You're on autopilot. Yeah. It's like that, except extended periods of time doing some task like editing a video. It's like you're in that zone, you look up and it's like, wait, it's 8 hours later.
Yeah, dude, I get that, man. And when it comes to me doing work, I am very religious about it. I like to do what I call work blocks. And it's funny, I started using this word when I was 17, 18. I would lock myself in a room and just grind out for 3-4 hours. And people would think I'm crazy, sitting in front of a computer, just locking in. And I, am very intentional with my environment as well. When it comes to where I like to work, I like to make it very work-centered, very easy to focus. And yeah, man, I'm no stranger to kick people out or be religious about it. So I definitely get that.
No, that's fire. So my brother, he also has ADHD. He was medicated at an earlier age. My teachers knew at a really young age that, hey, your kid is kind of he's not here. He's somewhere else. he's not here. So my parents didn't want to put me on medication at a young age. And I'm glad they didn't. But I learned how to grind for real. How to actually pull it off every time, last minute, right?
You were a last minute kid?
Oh, dude.
For assignments, for projects?
I couldn't if I tried. I wanted to so bad. Immigrant parents. My mom's Indian. Oh my God. It was terrifying. So, but
yeah,
I guess that's where the not giving a shit came from, is because, I realized that no matter how hard I try, I'm not going to be able to do this because I don't want to do it, but I know I can. So I never stopped believing in myself because I could apply myself in other areas. But then my senior year, it was like putting on glasses. I was like, this is the easiest shit ever, right? So I was like, fucking straight A. Like it was a drug. I was like hyper focused on like, not hyper focused, just the ability. I was addicted to it, like being able to like do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that kind of carried through into college. I mean, I literally had 100% average. Absurd for a college student. Now I look at it, I don't know why I needed to do that. I had to prove it to myself. So I never thought I'd drop out. So think about how big of a turn that would have taken. Honestly, like COVID too. Like, but if I didn't have that equipment, like my brother, he was medicated young. Yes, he has social life. He doesn't take meds anymore. He's a junior in high school. He does fine. That perseverance, you think that has something to do with it too? Like, I feel like you have just the right amount to where you're able to teach yourself methods. Like you have the systems in place to keep your mind focused and channel it. And now that you've taken out what I don't want to do, and you have the stimulus of money to come into the picture and it sustains you, that's your drug.
I think my drug for me, man, is definitely, I think it definitely is a little bit of like pride.
Yeah.
I think that's what keeps me moving. And I do have a very like, fuck you mindset.
Yeah.
Where it's, I hate to say like selfish, but I do have that switch where the things that I want to achieve are going to be my priority.
Yeah.
And I want them bad enough where nothing else really matters.
Absolutely. How does that work with your relationship?
You know, it's not easy. Like it's not, it definitely is tough, man. And I think that's, I've had to learn a lot of lessons in my relationship. And, it goes through cycles. Like I think I go through different seasons too. The best way I describe, my routines is it feels like a constant juggle.
Yeah.
And then even the internal battles I have within myself, it feels like a juggle. Sometimes I'm balancing diet, sometimes I'm balancing fitness, sometimes I'm balancing like me doing boxing. I balance my business, the metrics I'm trying to hit, the revenue targets I'm trying to hit, and then, a relationship on top of that. And I realized that with everything I try to juggle, there's only so much that I can juggle, and there's always going to be at least one or two things that slip.
Yeah.
And, at times it has been my diet, at times it has been the gym, at times it has been the business or my relationship. But I realized that, those seasons, those cycles, that kind of is my normal.
Yeah.
My normal is in balance.
Right.
And a lot of people, they talk about balance so much, but I feel like life happens in waves. There's not necessarily like a steady, line.
No.
There's not, if there's a steady line, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's when you flatline.
Absolutely.
But as far as, day to day, every year it comes in seasons. It's going to come as a wave.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. For me too, is like, I'm very good at multitasking. Well, not multitasking where I'm doing two things at once, but it's also a disease for me where I'm like, I'll do multiple things at once. Like I have 50 tabs open on my computer and I'll literally sit there like doing, while this loads, I'll do this. While this loads, I'll do this.
It's
while
funny.
This loads, I'll do this.
That kind of sounds like you're just trying to break bottlenecks at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm impatient, but that's also like, I have to force myself to create multiple profiles on my computer. I have a profile because I have 6 companies. So I'm wearing a lot of hats. It's like CEO of this. It's like, yo, tech support. Hey, how can I help you? Like, and so real quick, like, yo, did you get the finance reports in today? Did you cancel these subscriptions? Like, we're burning cash. We're literally pouring gas on plain cash right now. Pick up the phone. Hey, Ice Dazzle. How can I help you today? Oh, you want your ring sized? Oh, you got a ring from us last year. And what's the matter? Oh, you want to get the rhodium plating back on it. Okay, give me just a second. Let me put you on hold. Paris Watch Company. Right? So it's being able to do that is my stimulus. But I always, up to just a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I thought I could just keep going, with different things until I realized that you cannot be the master of all.
I agree with that completely. I think early on as well for me, I realized that I heard this phrase, and I think we're going to be on this. We might be on the same page. You can let me know if you disagree, but a jack of all trades is a master of none.
Yeah.
And I discovered that early on because I've always had people, approach me when they've seen like the set of skills I've had. They've told me, hey, like you should also diversify in like different fields. Like you do videography, you do photography, videography. Like don't just do weddings, do real estate, do commercials, do this long laundry list of, different industries. And sometimes, like it sounds like a good idea on paper, but it's hard. It's you can burn yourself out very easily wearing so many different hats. And
oh yeah,
even I've had that idea of like, hey, like why don't I start a second business? But for me, I've always been rewarded the most when I've just doubled down on what I'm already doing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like for me, it's been like hard. It's hard to double down because the ideas, especially when I was young, like would come to me and they would work. Because when you hit that success early, you know how to make it work. I got lucky because I was able to see it work early. And that showed me that it's possible. Just seeing that it's possible is huge. Like for people listening, understanding that it is possible to make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in the span of 30 days at 18, 19 years old. That's something that seems impossible to achieve because of the society, the way parents have grown up, 9-to-5 jobs, but it's not difficult to achieve. It's really not something that is outrageously difficult to achieve. The second you realize that it is actually possible and you can obtain that, everything changes in that moment. Like for me, it became an addiction because like I was good at it naturally, which is a blessing and a curse, like branding, coming up with brands. But developing a business is not something you just, talent doesn't come from that. Having creative talent is one thing, but developing thick skin, being able to operate a business, customer support, and the issues that arise over years, and being able to scale a team, take your passion and give it to your team, teach them to also feel the same way, finding the right people, choosing the right partners, getting stabbed is the only way you learn that. So like, I was, if I'm looking at myself now, when I was 18 years old, I would look at myself dead in the eye and say, you're a fucking silly penguin. What would you say to your 18-year-old self?
I'd say keep doing it. Keep moving forward. You're on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's nothing anyone could say to me when I was 18 that would jade anything I'm doing. I literally like, you could say anything to me and I'd literally be like, okay, cool. Go sit in my room and be like, I was a lone wolf. Like that's how I thrive.
It's funny that you say that because I was exactly the same way.
Yeah, like for me, like socializing was something that it's not that I was bad at socializing. I had a lot of friends across lots of different friend groups, but I couldn't care less to sit there with them for like several hours. Like I'd be like, this is a waste of time.
Yeah, I still kind of operate under that mindset. And sometimes I have to like train myself like, hey, like give a shit a little bit.
Yeah.
But also I feel like now I do have like the right people in my life. I don't think I have a huge circle, but I have the right circle.
Good. So what do you mean by like give a shit a little bit? What does give a shit mean?
Be interactive. Like don't just zone out because, it kind of goes back to, treat people the way you want to be treated. Like if I'm explaining my passions to someone, I'd expect them to, entertain it, discuss, look like they care. And sometimes like I kind of have to train myself, because I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'll be in mid conversations with people and I'm probably thinking of like, oh shit, like I got to do this task, I still got to do this with my business, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that networking is something that's very important.
Very important.
Yeah. And I feel like as humans, that definitely is a muscle. networking.
Especially in your industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And networking, definitely socializing. It's definitely a muscle. And for
Yeah.
example, like during COVID, after the lockdown, I remember going back to college and I had to give a presentation on a project and I felt so awkward and I sounded like I had social anxiety. Why? Because we were locked up for a year.
Yeah.
And I definitely lost, strength in that muscle, being able to talk and socialize and, move forward.
Yeah. No, that's happened to me too. But well, presentations, like in college, for example, like I never once like memorized a script. That's something that I'd always kind of just, it was so much easier for me to like.
Just wing it.
Yeah. Just understand the concept. Mm-hmm. Because when I learn a concept that interests me, I have to learn to the core. Like I will, without trying to, like go to the core of it. And then I can just regurgitate the information. I spit it out, right? So I'm standing in front of a class. I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to talk about this cool thing that I know. But if I have to memorize something, that's a chore. So I don't like memorizing scripts. I don't like doing that. I like to remember it and memorize it in a way that I would write it out. Mm-hmm. And that's what made me like learn that I can write scripts well. Because I would just like write scripts impromptu in the moment, just kind of put it together in the moment, record it, then write the scripts from my recordings. And then it's not really a script. All I'm doing is explaining a concept the way I like it. Then I'm just talking about it. I'm an auditory learner. So like when I say something out loud, I hear myself say it and then it clicks. So I don't know if you're like that, but that's how I like learn. But with the wedding industry, I've seen this because I went to a few events with Terrence, and Terrence, by the way, is a co-founder of Angry Digital. He's a multi-brand owner, so Bordeaux Weddings is one of his companies, and they specialize in wedding videography, serving all across the United States. So with iStazzle, I saw this opportunity to go to the Bridal Circle, which is a community in Atlanta of wedding planners and photographers and whatnot. Really cool. You should check them out if you're inside that scene, the Wedding Circle. Super awesome. That was interesting to me because photography, videography, like there's people there that have made their entire career just from attending that one event because of the connections you make from there. And the Instagram followers I have from that event are like, these are people that are very connected in the scene. You just have to go socialize.
Yeah, and that definitely is one thing about the wedding industry is that it's very tight. Like everyone knows everyone.
Yes, especially in Atlanta. So if you're like a new face, people are like, who are you? Right? So it doesn't take long for them to, people think that it's like so big of a world. It's just not. I was at Switchyards. I was explaining this concept, this after you left actually, the same day.
Yeah.
To Terrence. I was just verbally talking through the flows of how our engine works. And we were going to go to Colin's. I wanted to meet Colin. So I was like, I'll just come with you. He had to drop something off. Get up, about to leave. And this lady just like scooches over on the bench. And she's like, yo, what are you guys talking about? I've been here listening to you for the last couple hours. Like, sounds like really cool. What are you guys talking about? And I was like, oh yeah, we're building this product to help agencies fill this void of AI taking clients' traffic. Like, search is dying every day. Google SEO is becoming invisible with AI overviews, basically taking everything, answering all the questions off the top, and it's either it cites you or it doesn't. Most people it doesn't. So 30 to 40% of traffic to our websites is just gone, right? So now agencies are under the gun. They're like, have to explain to their clients like why the thousands of dollars they're paying them every month is going downhill.
Yeah.
But it's come around too now where it's become a norm. You can bounce agency to agency, the same issue. They're all aware of it.
Wow.
It's kind of like helpless.
This is something I wasn't completely, aware of. So that's
it's
interesting.
A huge issue.
Yeah.
Huge issue. There's not a solution to it. So me being a brand owner, I have seen it, like not from like a agency standpoint. Firsthand, I've seen it. Firsthand, my companies have suffered in this last year and have taken hits from organic traffic that I've built over 7 years. So like, yeah, it sucks. And being somebody who is technically inclined, I mean, for me, I don't look at something like that. It's just like you were saying before. It's like, tell me I can't do something. So I don't think about anything like, it's like, I'm doomed, or like that, just move on from that aspect. I'm like, okay, if other people are showing up, there's a reason for that. So I basically studied the hell out of it. And it's very similar patterns to content creation. You show up for a reason. You have expertise. You have authority. The search engine citing you because of a certain reason. And then I was able to get my citations back. I was able to get into the AI overviews for those topics. And what I realized is the traffic converts significantly higher. So not only was I able to recover the traffic, it converts higher than it did before. So that's when I started Angry Digital Inc. and pushed this entire movement forward just this last fall, because I was like, okay, I'm able to do this, rinse and repeat. And I just need to figure out a way to offer it to more verticals and test it, because I really want to see if this works, right? And it is. And it's not perfect every time, but it can be. Like, as in, if we do it enough times, we can absolutely get to the core. So that's why we built Nexio, our flagship product that we just pitched the application to YC for this spring. So do you have a website?
Yeah, I do.
What happens when you search up Andres Lopez? Just Andres Lopez on Google.
Let's see what happens. That's a good question. I know there definitely are, and my phone's on SOS, funny enough. I know that there is I know there's a comedian with the same name. I think there's a comedian, there's an actor. I'm not sure how much location also plays into that, but I should be in the...
That's impressive.
What you get?
Let's see. Andres Lopez. Okay, so we have a Wikipedia overview. Are you Colombian?
No, I'm Mexican.
You're Mexican. Okay, Andres Lopez Films comes up third. You're the third link here. So, quick feedback off the top. You don't have a favicon. You know what a favicon is?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so your favicon is missing. So I would definitely update that. That's amazing. Are you, there's somebody on IMDb. Okay, that's pretty impressive. So now if there was an AI overview here, I didn't get an AI overview.
I've gotten an AI overview in the past, and it tends to be a little like sloppy.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is it kind of mixes in like the 2-3 things that come up.
Right.
Like I remember one time reading like a little bio it came up with, and it was like, oh, Andres Lopez Films, it's a service in Atlanta, and it mixes that up with someone else's description and saying that like I'm also like an actor. Like it kind of mixes in things that aren't, things that I've actually done.
Writer and ex-drug trafficker. That's one of the key figures that comes up here. So let's see. Okay, so you're not coming up inside of the AI mode. So these are the things that we study. Mm-hmm. And then we look at why are they coming up and what is it about them that made them come up. And then we create those insights and we test them for you. So then we don't just tell you, okay, like, hey, you came up this many times, or like, hey, like, try this strategy. Good luck. No, we watch it. We watch it every single time somebody searches it up. we know, and we track it, and then we test it, and then we revise it and iterate it based off the intelligence. So for you, here's what I would do. On your website, where do you host your website?
I use a thing called Show It.
Show It.
Yeah.
Okay.
It took me a second because I couldn't remember because I know they have collaborations with WordPress, but that's only for like blog use. I use Show It because this was back in like 2020 when I was going full time with this. There is another photographer that she was kind of like my mentor growing up for a couple years, and she used Show It, and Show It was very big with photographers because a lot of people were also using, they were building templates. And I'm not talking about like Wix templates where it's like very generic, very shitty, but
Mogerts.
Right. What?
Mogerts. Motion graphic templates.
Yeah, I guess.
MOGRT. Do you edit on Premiere?
I do edit in Premiere.
No way.
No.
No way.
But I ended up buying a really nice template that even to this day I use. And yeah, that was one deciding factor for me. I like moving quick as well. So yeah. I wanted to find something professional, something clean, something that establishes authority. And I was able to find that compatible with Show It, bought it, modified it, still use it to this day.
Yeah, power of influence. That's really powerful. You ever think about the fact that you have influence?
It's weird because I don't want to walk around with that, mindset that, hey, like I have, it's just cringy too. Like people that are too egotistical. But yeah, I guess it's weird to think that I do have a degree of influence.
Yeah, but it's important to think about that. I used to think about it like I used to feel like that too until I started working with influencers. They're humans.
I agree. Yeah.
Celebrities. Like I'll tell you what every celebrity has in common. It's crazy because every human has this in common. Mm-hmm. They have a fucking butthole, eyes, and hair.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I am not the type of person to put other people like on a pedestal like that. And it blows my mind when people go to like concerts and they're like losing their mind.
Yeah.
And like they see an artist or a creative or whatever the hell, and they're like fangirling and just going crazy when at the end of the day it's another human being.
They're just human.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I ever went to a concert. There's a Latin artist that I'm a big fan of, and my fiance.
Who?
His name's Raul Alejandro, and I remember that my fiance, first year of us dating, she got me tickets to go see him live because I had never been to a concert, and she got us like floor tickets. So this man is like 6 feet away from us.
Yeah. And
I remember feeling like excitement, first time going to see one of my favorite artists. But I remember being there, and to a degree, I felt kind of disappointed, a little uninterested. Like I remember just seeing everyone going crazy.
You see yourself from a third person standpoint where you're like, I should be having more fun. I should be like, this is
kinda, it. Yeah.
This
like it was fun. Like it felt like I was, I couldn't, I didn't feel like I was completely there.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going crazy. Like I saw him and I'm like, yo, this is just some regular dude. Like I feel like I could just, outside of this, I could be friends with him. Like I didn't put him on a pedestal. I kind of, even though he's like famous, rich, has money, all this stuff, I didn't put him on a pedestal. I felt like, hey, this is just another guy.
Right.
Like I could literally be friends with this guy. And part of me too was like, damn, like how much did this girl spend on these tickets? Like we could have just listened to his music. We could have just listened to the exact same thing at home.
That's the foreign parents inside. Mm. That's the foreign parents inside.
You could have just listened to it at home.
Yeah. Like my mom would be like, Webkins when they were the big thing, right? It's like, you have this pet online. My mom would be like, I can draw a dog on a piece of paper and you can fucking feed it. But mom, it's not the same thing. Immigrant parents. But I completely get what you're saying. That's like, makes me think like, I need to do more research on the term, but have you ever heard of imposter syndrome?
Yeah, and I've definitely been in positions where I feel that.
Yeah, because that's what I've been in that same positions too. It's like not being able to let yourself go to enjoy the moment because you're trying to fill an expectation that I should be having fun. I should be feeling a certain way, but it's that expectation, that overhyping. We almost like cause this dopamine drive ahead of time, thinking about it, And then what happens is when it happens, there's depletion. There's no dopamine left for you to actually enjoy. It's just like, oh.
You know, I feel that a lot, actually. I should be, right? I definitely feel that a lot. For example, my fiance and I, we actually went to Hawaii a month ago. And I remember, it's my slow season, by the way. Like, I'm not, all of January, I didn't have any, wedding projects to film. It's technically our slow season, and all the photographers and videographers online, post like, oh, like, we're going to be broke for the next few months because there's, nothing going on. But in reality, there's so much to do still. There's still so much admin work. There's so much revamping to do. And then two, in Q1, the amount of leads that come in is insane.
Yeah.
Like, the majority of your business can come from Q1 alone. So I remember us being in Hawaii, and, I don't have to worry about shooting weddings, but I do have to worry about inquiries. And so that was one thing. I was, while we were out doing things, that was always in the back of my mind. It's always, I should be doing this. I should be answering emails. I should be building systems. I should be automating things, like this constant fire of, I should be.
Yeah.
But one thing I do like about vacations, I've kind of learned this about myself, is that when it comes to me doing, vacations, and when it comes to me having experiences, when it comes to me doing things, sometimes I don't enjoy them in the moment, but I do enjoy them after the moment. So a lot of the times too, like, I'll look back and be like, oh, that was a great memory. Like, I enjoy experiences more for the memories they produce, not for the actual moment itself.
I like that.
Which I don't know if it's weird or what, but yeah, like, when I travel now, I know I'm not going to enjoy being there in the moment. Like, I think about it, like, what trips do we have coming up? What places would we like to go? I'm not going to completely enjoy when we're there, but I know when I look back at my camera roll and I look back at that season of my life, I know I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I enjoy vacation for the feeling it gives me when I reflect on it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's something that's been always hard for me. Like, consistently very difficult for me is vacation. Like, very difficult for me to vacation. I rarely vacation, but when I do, because I travel for business, I get to see things. It's always like, I'm here for a reason.
Right.
I've been to Germany. I've been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to Dubai. I mean, Netherlands. It's like, it's cool to experience it with business, and it's a completely different thing. But if I have to go and not do anything, like a Disney World, or like actually go to the beach, I'm sitting there like tweaking. I'm like,
and actually, to correct myself, I was still answering emails. I was still taking calls. I was still doing things. There were some days where I would wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I knew, okay, like, me and my fiance, we have a whole itinerary that we're going to do. So let me wake up early, do what needs to be done, so that she has, we have our time together. We have our time to enjoy the trip.
It's important though, because like with being in a relationship, that's like a commitment where you have to be able to balance. Balance is balance. People say balance, 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 balance. But with a relationship, it's like, it doesn't matter whether or not, like, work is here. You have to give your undivided attention for your significant other, right? And like, for me, that's always been like that was a hard thing. It's a very hard thing, but that was like the only thing that could get me to move away from working.
Yeah. I'm hearing you, right? But I think there's one thing in there that I don't completely agree with.
Yeah.
So there was this, you just reminded me of this book that I read, and it's called The Way of the Superior Man.
Oh my God.
You read it? So it's interesting, like, thinking about like psychology, and at the end of the day,
I love that book.
We really want the things that we can't have.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you just like reminded me of this concept. But I think as a man, right, and I'm just speaking for men, like, I'm not speaking for everyone, but this concept, really, this book and this concept really just applies to like a man, right?
Right.
I think that your purpose always needs to come number one.
It does.
And the relationships I've been in, I've always had that mindset, and I've always made it clear, like, to my partner early on, like, hey, by the way, like, as mean as this sounds, you're not my number one priority. And I know hearing that, like, a lot of people are probably going to be like, damn, this dude's in it. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but as a man, like, your purpose definitely needs to be your number one priority. And I think in terms of relationships, that also builds the attraction side of things.
I agree.
Because, like I said, we want what we can't have. And if your partner knows that your time is valuable and she knows that she can't, get all your time, it's going to make your time more desirable. She can't get it all, and it makes it more desirable.
You are more in line with your core, like your purpose. You're more in line with your purpose, and like you know what you want. You know exactly what you want, and you know that it's charisma. That's the definition of charisma: is knowing what you want and what comes next, and knowing what you're gonna do next. Definitively, with my past relationships, what he just said, by the way. For those of you that have no idea what we're talking about, The Way of the Superior Man is an incredible book, and I think all guys should read that book.
100%.
If you're a man, you should read that book. It will change your life in the way that you view relationships and women, period. Listen to an audiobook. Honestly, like an audiobook version of that book is gold. But that's one thing I didn't do explicitly, but was very like, it's like, duh, I'm like very driven, like it's my whole life.
Yeah.
But I didn't explicitly make it clear that that's my number one priority. I always would make her the number one priority, but verbally, just verbally, I wouldn't act upon it. Because I wouldn't act upon her being my number one priority. That was the problem. Because I would act upon my businesses being my number one priority.
I feel like there's so many layers too, as well. Like right now, what you're saying, what you're explaining, there's so many layers.
Yeah. And I mean, I just got out of a, not in a bad way, like 7, almost 8-year relationship, right? So, yeah. So that's like you grow together, and it's like with somebody who is driven by business so hard, it's also hard on the other person.
100%.
So I respect that a lot, but they learn who you are and what makes you click. But from what you said though, that was the biggest disconnect.
Yeah. Is
clarity there. How can you say that that person is your number one priority when they're not?
Yeah. And actually, man, when it comes to that, I think as a man, you should always be a man of your word.
Exactly.
That's number one.
And that's something that clicked for me. Like, that's something that always felt off for me, is like I'm lying to myself. Every time I say that, I'm
to them,
lying
to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what hurt me the most. Like, internally, is like that feeling in my gut where I'm like, I'm not like that. I have to say this because I have to say this. It's like imposter syndrome almost. But that's the first time.
I have to say, okay, what you said, I have to say this because it's, would you say that one more time?
I have to say this because it's like what I'm supposed to say.
It's what you're supposed to say. There you go. I think that mindset, right, comes from the pressure of like the social pressures.
Exactly. That's all it is. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And what I was thinking right now too, man, is what you were saying about how your word and your actions were disaligned.
Yes.
I think that if you tell your partner and establish that early on, like, hey, you're not going to be my number one priority.
Yeah.
It hurts, it stings, but they're going to respect you so much more. And in a weird way, they're going to be more attracted to you as well.
Yeah, no, that
in a very
actually
weird
makes
way.
Like that clicked for me when you said that. I was like, for a second, I was like, really? But then I was like, oh my gosh, wait. That was literally like, it was that. That's all it is. Because like inside of a relationship, trust is important. And now that I look at it, like that was the biggest thing that I was like, it felt weird for me to be like, I have to say this. It's like when a girl goes like, would you still love me if I was an HDMI cable?
Right, some dumb shit, but
you know, it's like, sure, yes. I'm not gonna fall in love with an HDMI cable. I mean, the USB-C came out; it's way better. I'm currently in love with my USB-C cable until Thunderbolt upgrades, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to ditch that Thunderbolt, and then, yeah. That's how my brain thinks logically,
Yeah.
right? But women don't think logically, they think emotionally. And the way the superior man, this is the biggest fucking thing. So listen up, man. All right, women, when they go, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. I literally want to fucking jump off a bridge right now. Or like shoot myself. Like, guys, I know it sounds crazy, but they don't actually want to shoot themselves. Like, our brains go, oh my gosh, like, no, don't do that. But what she's doing is just verbally saying what she's feeling. She's describing what she's feeling. That's it. She's not trying to be like logically saying something. She's just describing the feeling. She's saying that she feels like that right now.
And to kind of add to that, it's also valid. Like what women say, what she, like for example, in that scenario, like what she feels and what she says is completely valid. And one of the things that the book talks about too is that I don't know if you remember this chapter, but it talks about how women never lie. And, you know, back to that point, it's true. That's how she feels in the moment. So
absolutely,
it's completely valid. And we don't understand it. Like as a man, like it's a little bit harder to understand because we don't operate the same way. We operate a little bit more, you know, less emotion, a little bit more logic. So it doesn't always make sense to us.
No, of course. It's not supposed to make sense because this is a big thing I've seen in business is that book really did change me a lot. It gave me a lot of clarity that I didn't have. EQ and IQ. IQ you're set with, right? That's the intelligence level you have, which doesn't always correlate with success, by the way. Like high IQ, as IQ goes up, your actual income levels over time go down.
It's funny that you say that. That's actually, I'm reading a book right now called, I'm sure you've probably read it too. It's called Outliers.
Outliers. No, I haven't read that
and
one.
One of the chapters actually talks about that. Basically, you know, to sum this up, there's an organization. They take a bunch of, you know, high IQ people. They study them. They think, you know, their prediction is that because their IQs are high, they're going to become successful. But they realize that too much IQ actually ends up hurting you.
Yeah.
Where there's a degree where if you're in that sweet spot of IQ, the way you operate is you're smart enough, but you're also creative enough. And you kind of need the combination of those two things for success.
Right. Because IQ is your ability, to recognize patterns, right? When you start recognizing patterns that are very deep, you see all the patterns. It's very easy to see so many patterns that you're overwhelmed by it and you can't see the bigger picture. But I guess there's levels to this, right? You know, if you have a very high IQ to the point where you cannot socialize or see like the same picture that most people are seeing, that's a different story. But if you are somebody who is very academically successful, but you're like, how do I apply this in business? Meditate. Because that's how you can actually take advantage of everything else. You can slow those thoughts down to an extent, but you're never going to stop them. You can never stop your thoughts. It's like 100%. Saying like, you know, saying I think is like saying I heartbeat. Duh, I heartbeat. Yeah, cool. I think. I think. It's just something that happens, right? But becoming a victim to your thoughts and becoming your thoughts is a mistake because you're not your thoughts. You're the bystander. Their thoughts come, they go. They're in the foreground. You're experiencing it, but you are not your thoughts.
Yeah, I can wrap my head around that. One of the things that I've started doing in the last like year to 2 years is I started muting my thoughts before a certain time. So for example,
wait, hold up. You started muting your thoughts?
I started muting my thoughts. No, you'll see what I mean.
Like a remote control?
No, like they still come. I just ignore them. But what I've realized is that, so for example, I'm a morning person. I'm a morning person. A lot of the times I'd wake up at like 5, 6, start my day, start my routine. And I noticed that I would have some of the most toxic thoughts early in the morning. I want to say from like 5 to 8 a.m. I'd have like the most toxic thoughts.
You touch your phone when you wake up?
I would experiment with that. There's sometimes I did, there's sometimes I didn't. And regardless if I did or didn't, the thoughts are there. But I've realized that, me, whatever I'm thinking, like I'm not going to make business decisions from 5 to 8. I'm not going to make any decisions that are going to
In the morning.
Yeah.
That's when you have toxic thoughts. Interesting.
I know not to trust those thoughts. So, for example, if I have one negative thought about myself or one negative thought about maybe a friend or a peer or whatever.
I see.
Yeah. I have that thought and I know like, hey, this is just your morning brain. Like, ignore it. Like, it's not valid. It's not true. It's not how you actually feel. It's not what you actually think. Like, it's there. Observe it.
But it sets your pattern for the rest of the day. So like if you start going in that loop, you're in that mood for the rest of the day. That's just like how the brain works. It starts in the morning. When you first wake up, you have no thoughts for about 2 to 3 minutes. That's your most powerful moment to hypnotize yourself for the day. So if you wake up and you start looking at what you wrote down the day before, you hypnotize your brain. You literally will have, you ever wake up and you're just like inside of this euphoric bliss of just like experiencing like, I just woke up. Processing the dream. You have no thoughts there. That's your most influential part of the day. Every morning you'll have this period. You have one moment to exit REM. You wake up and you snooze, you're fucked. One time. Snooze once and you're fucked. So if you wake up and you get up, you just jump up, you just hijack your body. Because what happens when you hit snooze, you get stuck in REM. So you can snooze 10 minutes. Your body goes right back into REM and does not exit it again. Because that pulse of cortisol that hits in the morning only happens once. First time you wake up. So you're screwing yourself by snoozing. Hear that, guys? Sorry, I know you guys like snoozing. We all do. But you're going to like what happens when you don't snooze so much more because you'll never be brain fogged. Ever. Like, I didn't believe, like, I only way I could believe something is if I did it myself, and I would not tell you guys anything that I didn't truly believe in. So wake up, just get up. It's going to be hard the first couple times, but you'll see for yourself, you'll enter flow state. Like you will enter flow state right when you wake up. And if you start working right away, you will be in the most flow period that you'll maximize that. So that's a hack, but don't snooze in the morning. And whatever you ingest in your brain, that first 10 minutes will dictate what your brain does for the next 12 hours. And till the time you sleep again. So that's powerful. Use that how you will. I'll write like notes to myself on the mirror so I see it and it goes into my brain whether I like it or not. Powerful stuff. Affirmations, those things work because you don't have a choice. Your conscious mind's asleep. There's a gateway straight to the unconscious, and we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 60 to 70,000. Count them. Like if you don't believe me, like it will wake you up. But if you don't think you have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, that should make you realize like how unaware you are of what's actually going on. But if you have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, how many of those are the same as the day before? 95%. 95% of the thoughts are the same as the day before. How do you change? Become aware of those thoughts. The more you become aware of them, they're no longer unconscious thoughts. They're conscious thoughts. Each and every thought that you become aware of, it's a conscious thought. No longer unconscious, and you process it. So if you have 80,000 or 50,000 or 40,000 thoughts, because you're aware of them, they can be 40,000 intentional thoughts rather than unconscious, unintentional thoughts, toxicity, negativity. Just becoming aware of the fact that you're having that thought, when it comes up, you just go, oh, there it is, and you watch it. Then you wait, just like a guard dog. You just wait. You feel it. Like, notice it's here. It's not hurting you. Feel it. Emotion, then thought. Always emotion, then thought. Feel the emotion. Go, what emotion is this thought? What is causing it? Just backtrack it. Oh, that's self-doubt. Oh, that's anxiety. Oh, that's fear of something happening to this person. It's a fear. You'll notice there's something you can stem it back to. Then next thought comes up. Oh, here it is. Hold it. Pay attention to it. Say, okay, here's the first one. Here's the second one. And then watch them. Notice how it comes back up again. You'll catch it a few times. But something amazing is going to happen. You'll feel it before you think it. And that's when you win.
You'll feel it before you think it.
You always feel it first, and then the thought arises. So what will happen is you'll feel it coming, but you'll never end up thinking the thought because you can feel it all the way through. You're aware of it. And at that moment, you'll feel it like an energy release. Mm-hmm. Like it's a very euphoric, like you overcome the thought. Mm-hmm. You win. You just rewired that neural pathway. Congrats. That's how you overcome trauma. Easier said than done, but it is that awareness, having that awareness is step one. And just knowing that, like understanding this right here, it's changing your brain, right? It's changing your brain because now you're not going to be able to undo that. Mm-hmm. But being able to understand this takes a lot of awareness, right? But that's the most powerful thing I could tell anybody. You can redo a thought pattern in your favor just by becoming aware of it because it's not unconscious. It's not that you don't have control over it. The more you resist it, what you resist persists. Push on it. It's not going anywhere. It's still there. It's taking up space. It's taking up real estate. You have a limited amount of it. But it's taking up more than you think. Mm-hmm. Because unconsciously, you're thinking it all day long. And it's taking up more energy than you possibly are using on anything else. Mm-hmm. Without you even realizing you're expending it. So when you become aware that you're doing it, count how many times it happens. Because every single time it happens, you'll start realizing it's right there. There it is. Oh, what is it? Oh, there it is. There it is. See how many you catch. That's how you win. Because you master the mind, you master everything. Mm-hmm. You can master anything. Everything will start coming to you. You don't go get things. Things will come to you. Now you're in control. You start to realize that the thoughts come. Here they are. Here they are. You are the puppeteer. Before you're the puppet. But you're the puppeteer. You can control it. That's your reality.
It's interesting hearing your perception and how you go about these things. Because once again, I feel like there's that parallel again. I almost feel like I'm looking at a mirror here. I almost feel like I'm looking at a mirror here because it sounds like you're very intentional with your thoughts. And the way that I describe it, the way I talk about it is I think about it like a computer. What programming are you running? What operating system are you operating
Mac
under?
OS. Duh.
No, but I think about that because we really do set the intention, of our day. We really do set the intention of our mind. And this concept, blows my mind. But the people who do everything subconsciously, right? Imagine, and it's crazy because this is the reality of things. A lot of people, they're doom scrolling.
Yes.
And their thoughts and their reality are being affected by it. And at the end of the day, it's the algorithm. That's the puppeteer, like you said.
Yes.
A lot of these people are being controlled by I call it the Matrix.
The Matrix, yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, man, imagine just doom scrolling and you don't know what piece of content's coming next, right? You have no idea. The algorithm is just...
Yeah, but Zuck does. The way the ad algorithm works, the piece of content you're about to see in 5 minutes is already written out. It knows the order to present content to keep you engaged before you even do it. And it changes in real time. So as you're scrolling and how you're interacting, if you're getting less interested or more interested, it knows, oh, here, don't put an ad next. Put it after we bamboozle him a little bit. Let's give him a little puppy. Let's throw some puppies on the screen. Oh, maybe some profanity. That should capture his attention again. But what's happening? 15-second loop. I mean, on my end of the realm of agency ownership and brand ownership, we engineer content to go in loops. We start the track with the same loop that it ends with, so that when you end the video, you don't know when it starts again. It plays in a perpetual loop. You would literally sit there people are sitting... Because what happens when they watch it 5 times over and over and over? It fucking hijacks the algorithm. The algorithm's thinking, oh, this person is really watching this video, huh? It must be a great video. They watched it 5 times in a row. So that's what every single piece of content has been engineered to do now, especially TikTok. And what's happening is people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. Just a year ago, the average attention span, I don't know what it is now, but 1.7 seconds is the average attention span. So all my websites are optimized to load faster than 1.7 seconds. Because that's all you have.
Yeah.
You have 1.7 seconds to capture someone's attention. So if you're writing a hook for a video, 1.7 seconds, get it across or you lose. They're gone. They don't care. Whatever you say, you have 1.7 seconds. So if you're going to start your video like, so I'm making this video because they're gone.
Yeah.
They're out. You got to start your video something like this. Ah! You will never believe what just happened to me.
That should be
the hook of this video, to be honest.
I thought the exact same thing. That should exactly be the hook of this video. But it's sad. It's sad that that's reality, but also I see it two ways, man. Part of me sees it as sad that that's reality, but then the second part of me is like, hell yeah, like I'm glad that's reality, because if I can train my brain, I can outcompete everyone.
Yes, you win. Absolutely, you win, because people start creating reality inside of their world, of their mind, in this shallow, non-existent world. They fail to see what's real. And as an operator of e-commerce companies, I've been running ads for so long that I don't use social media. Like my Instagram, my personal Instagram, like my TikTok, it's kind of, now I'm building my own brand now with Angry Digital. This is the first time I'm doing it where I'm fully focused on just my thing, right? It's not for my brand. It's not for my other company. It's not for a client. It's not for another influencer or a YouTuber. This is for my own.
Right.
I'm applying the skills I learned to myself. And it's like, wow. The way I approach it is like a systematic approach. It's not how like people would think. And I don't scroll on social media that like people do, because for me, it's like, I do it for a living.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, because at the end of the day, social media is just a product. And most people, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to use their product. You think people that sell cigarettes smoke cigarettes, right? It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, the product is addictive and harmful, so I'm going to sell it. I'm not going to use it, but I'm going to sell it.
Oh, that's a unique point, though. With cigarettes, alcohol, anything addictive. Are you familiar with what the market curves like with like elasticity? Are you familiar with the concept of elasticity in price?
Run it by me.
Okay, so there's very few products that are non-elastic. Okay, elasticity is how much demand changes with price increase. So if price goes up, demand goes down. There's very few products that have a vertical line where doesn't matter how much price changes, it will constantly be the same demand.
And it's the addictive products, huh?
Correct. So there's only a few products that do this. Alcohol is one. Tobacco products, nicotine is another. Yeah, that's about it. It's also for things that are necessities, like commodities, gas. Even gas will people stop driving at a certain point. But the more addictive a substance is, the higher the price you can charge for it, and people will still buy it just as much because it's addictive. Coffee's another one. So that's always fascinated me, because those are the legal ones. I could see where, well, I don't know what marijuana is like. I have to look at the curves for those, but I could see that being also something that could be, I don't know if it's going to be the same, to be honest. But yeah, the concept of elasticity, it's a loophole. Social media breaks that.
In what way?
It does not matter how much you try to ban TikTok. You're going to have the entire like a war raged against you when you take it away, because you're that addicted to it. So now we have another inelastic product, which I could see as I'm trying to compare this to nicotine. I'd say it's way more addicting than nicotine. Yeah. Because it's quite literally like, I don't know if the brain knows how to behave, how to see reality, how to
100%.
reproduce dopamine when your
100%.
Snapchat streaks are gone. Oh no. oh no, I didn't send S plus R today. Think about that, right? I haven't had Snapchat in like 5 or 6 years, maybe longer. But when I did, shit.
You were hooked?
Oh, like, yeah, I mean, like all these apps, right? I didn't realize it until I started becoming very into my businesses.
Yeah.
I didn't need it. I deleted them. Like, I was so locked in.
That's so funny. I've done the same thing. Anytime I'm entering like a season where it's like I have to lock down and do shit,
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll be quick to delete my apps.
Right. And it's never come back because I hit such a flow that it never came back. It just never did. And, you know, really people learned about my life from my ex posting, from my clients, my other influencers, like people who are posting and then I retag them. Like I repost what they post. That's how my entire feed, if you look at even my stories, my saved stories are all were literally just reposts. Because I literally, when you're the person behind the camera, there's very few pictures of you, you know? So, yeah, I mean, whatever I'm creating, I don't see like, oh, I'm going to like boast myself on social media.
Right.
I'm like, I want to capture this watch in a way that's going to make fucking money. That's what I'm thinking. I want to sell this watch. I want to present it in a way because I think it's beautiful. But try taking a picture of a watch. If you've ever tried taking a picture of a watch, you understand, like, it's fucking hard, right? So for me, again, tell me I can't do something, it's like, I will figure it out. It took me years to master shooting watches, and it takes a lot of skill to do it. But that's what made me a really fucking good photographer. I could apply it anywhere. But that's how my approach to social media has always been, is for a purpose. If I'm running this creative, it's going to see this CTR. More people click through from this creative is going to bring more people to the website who will purchase the product.
So you're using it as a tool rather than a product.
It's just a tool.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. So when I see social media and people are like doom scrolling, they're looking at products, they're like, oh, this is so cool. I'm like, I cannot process that the same way. I'm like, wow, that's a good ad. That's what I'm literally thinking. I'm like, that's a good ad. Taking notes.
Yeah, I kind of do the same. Like sometimes I'll see certain ads and I'll screenshot it because I'm like, oh shit, like I like the ad copy. I like the presentation. I like the XYZ.
Burning questions of desire here. Robots.txt file. You need one on your website. So what is a robots.txt file? By default, websites have a file at its root that tells crawlers whether or not they're allowed to crawl your site. By default, they say do not allow. Because do you want people to just crawl your site? Probably not. Is what you would think. Up till now, you don't want to like disallow all crawlers on your site. If you do that, you never show up in AI. Because how do they crawl your site and know what's on your site for them to cite? So on that robots.txt file, you need to add ChatGPT's bot, Perplexity's bot, Claude, and Gemini, Google. You need to allow those crawlers to be able to crawl your site and show that content on your website in the AI overviews. So just in general, having a disallow is no longer the move here. What you want to do is disallow only the stuff you don't want crawled, because it's not allowed to crawl things you're not allowed to crawl. But there's bots that do anyway.
Yeah,
they override it, but according to like data privacy and laws that are around that, the governance, you cannot do that. It's a violation of your own terms of service. So a robots.txt file, you need to allow crawling for all the LLMs. Shoot me a text, I'll tell you what to put in there. And in that same file, you can add a reference to something called LLMs.txt, which we'll talk about in the next episode. But the LLMs.txt file quite literally is a map for AI to know what every page on your website does, where that information is, and why it's meaningful. So by having that file, it tells the robot to go, okay, I'm allowed to crawl. Here is the index I need to go to. that file and the way it's structured tells AI overview, ChatGPT, and all this stuff, okay, this is it grasps the information to know where can I find more about this. So 2 things you need to do. You need to add a robots.txt file to your root, and you need to add an LLMs.txt file to the root. And because you're coming on the podcast, I'm going to put you on with Nexio, our product, and it will optimize both of those files for you so that when we look up Andres Lopez, you will be the AI overview that comes up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or you can figure it out for yourself. Good luck. But I mean, yeah, shoot me a text. We'll optimize those for you. And that way we can see too how Nexio is doing. But
not even just that. You should talk about like just the wedding industry as a whole. Like he's gonna be able to come up in AI overviews.
Correct. So it's not just for looking up Andres Lopez. Somebody's looking up
Atlanta wedding photographer, Georgia wedding photographer.
Yeah, who are the
right?
best wedding videographers in Georgia? I'm getting married on this date. In ChatGPT. It's going to be confused. And a lot of people think like, oh, I will never show up in this because it's so competitive. Maybe they're selling a new shoe. Like, how am I going to compete Nike?
Right.
But AI hallucinates. AI hallucinates. So it's not always right, but it does follow rules because it is a robot. It's not human. No, it's not going to take over the world, but it will absolutely cite your brand. It just have to do it the right way, which nobody seems to know what to do. Nexio does. I'm done marketing the product. I'm not even joking. Like, the reason I keep pushing this is because it really does make that much of an impact. And
100%.
the reason why I even built the product in the first place is because I saw how much content marketing and SEO optimization changed my life and my businesses. So spending money on ads is how I started out my career. Running Facebook ads, running Google ads, doing that, like there's a high customer acquisition cost to that and it's rising. Every day it goes up and it becomes more competitive. Ad cost goes up because social media, as we know, is becoming more and more prime, more and more addictive. So that ad space, harder and harder. Influencer marketing, more and more expensive. But what works without any of that? Organic search. It converts significantly higher just from showing up first, right? It is that important. That's why companies spend hundreds of thousands every year optimizing it. And people are getting fucked by AI overviews taking their traffic. But now we have a whole new player. Fuck AI overviews and Googling it. What happens when you ask ChatGPT? Like, how I see it is we're not going to have an AGI as people, whoa, AGI. It's not going to be like that because we're not like that as humans. As humans, we're not wired to be like, okay, we're just going to trust this one source. That'd be boring. Everybody has personalities. Everybody has their preferences. We already have Claude, we have Gemini, we have Perplexity, we have OpenAI, we have Grok, we have Meta. Like, there's more emerging, right? These are all flavors. They all do the same thing as in the essence, but there's preferences. People prefer this, people prefer that, and it's not going to slow down. We're going to have more and more of these. I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen. We'll have more niche things that are catered to you, and it will be more lucrative than ever for you to be in its favor, right? So that's why I encourage brands and businesses to really invest in things that will benefit them in the long run, because every ad you run will perform better because your organic results are already good. If you're going to pay per click for ads, your PPC is going to be significantly lower. I mean like a fraction if you have great optimized SEO, because Google's looking at your landing page to see how well your landing page is optimized. The first thing is site speed. If your site's not fast, Google literally deprioritizes you. Why? It's not because they're against you. It's because the average attention span is how long? 1.7 seconds. That's a blazing fast site. Google's doing their job. They're providing information to their user. And if you're providing them false information, that's not in their favor. So they're not going to show you. You're going to pay a lot for those PPC. So highly encourage people to make authentic content. Don't use AI like a clutch. Use it like the power tool it is. It's a super powerful tool. It'll augment your skill set. It'll augment what you know as an expert. But use it like a crutch, and you're going to hold yourself back in a horrible way. Input equals output. Never stop learning. Never stop reading. You're the expert. AI is not going to replace you. It's going to augment your abilities, the way that you apply what your expertise is. You're going to be able to do more with less. But that should be an empowering thing, not something that's scary. The more scared we get of it, that's the problem, period. It's not a scary thing. It should be a great thing. That's my take.